Hello, hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us this afternoon. And so, basically, what we are going to discuss here, the main agenda of this webinar is going to be the discussion about how retail success mantra, how do we achieve this retail success mantra post COVID disruption that the industry is facing right now. There will also be a Q&A session after the discussion. So I'll go ahead and quickly introduce the panelists. So today we have with us our guest speaker, Mr. Amit Agarwal. He is an IT head of Columbia Sportswear, which is globally reputed brand for active lifestyle gears fortified with industry-leading technologies. Okay, so Mr. Amit has extensively worked in the retail IT industry, and he has thorough expertise in the front end as well as back end technologies. Next, we have with us is the industry expert, Dr. Rupal Agarwal. Dr. Rupal Shah Agarwal is a co-founder of a management consultancy company known as Your Retail Coach, where they consult retail brands to organize themselves and expand. Dr. Rupal has actively worked in the retail industry for the past many years. Next, we have is Mr. Rohit Khaitan. Rohit heads marketing and strategy at Genesis. He has been nominated as top 100 retail professionals at Asia Retail Congress, that is twice. He has obtained his MBA degree from Oxford. So I'll just hand it over to our guest speaker, Mr. Amit Agarwal. Amit?
Yeah, hi team.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Yeah, hi.
Hello. Amit, your video can be turned on?
Can.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
So, can you give us a background about Columbia and what it does and what your plans are?
Okay. Yeah, I'm heading up basically IT for Columbia Sportswear. Okay. And the Columbia Sportswear are part of the Chogori India Retail Limited. And we are the master franchisee for the Columbia Pan India. Okay, where we have three formats. One is the distribution, one is offline stores, and a total e-commerce platform basically. So I'm taking care of three of them, and I'm into industry past 20 years and 18 years plus my retail experience, where I've worked with this brand, you can say Versace, Corneliani, and Ebony Retail Holding Limited, and you can say Vogue and Gotherford. So basically, past 18 years, I have a very good background as well as infrastructure as well as retail. And plus now, Columbia give me a chance for e-commerce also. Okay, and our plan is basically to basically COVID is a very bad time to us, but our management decided to make a fortune for us basically. And for that, basically, if you will say, we have implemented the ERP this time, we made a new website, and we can both join with Unicommerce. So all of them is working fine. And in COVID time, we have planned all this and implemented from July. And now all is working fine, and our sales is going boosted. So this is good basically.
Okay, great. Thank you, Amitji.
See.
Rupal, you want to say something?
So yeah, I mean, for now, I think we can start with Amitji and have an understanding on his experience of going digital and how it has helped him.
Basically, Rupal, if we will see that the offline based
So just a
customer is worried to
second.
go on.
Are you facing a Rohit? Are you also facing the voice lag from Amit?
Yeah. So maybe the video can be turned off for some time.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Amit.
Yes. So basically, offline stores is not going that much good in the market because the concern customer is panicked to go to the mall and purchasing this. So we have decided to boost our e-commerce digital platform. So we made a new website and integrated with our Genesis and Unicommerce. So on a daily basis, we are getting more and more orders. We are targeting more to customers, and if you will see, our logistics partner is delivery. So we are giving on time delivery to the customer. If they face any problem, our customer care is there who help us to resolve all the issues. So
Cool.
it's
Uh,
basically
I- yeah. Yeah, Vyomika, you can, thanks, Amitji. I think that's very interesting to know that you have achieved all this in a very short period from July to September. Uh,
yes.
and obviously, we're looking forward to more success. Thank you. Vyomika, you can go ahead with the rest of the team. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Amitji. Next, we have with us Dr. Rupal Agarwal. Right, Rupal, I'll just, you can take over.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Vyomika. Just give me a moment. I'll share my screen.
No problem.
So I hope everyone can see the screen. So we've designed this webinar today with the idea that what are the 3 winning steps or the mantra post-COVID. So the retail mantra post-COVID is something that we are going to be discussing today. So just a quick check with all the participants who are present here today. How many of y'all already have a business, or and how many of y'all are in the planning stage where you are still planning whether to start a business, or you're still in the stage where you're not too sure whether you're going to be starting the business or not? So can you just type plan if you're planning to start a business, and you can type maybe you already have, so you can type I have. So just for us and for us to understand. Okay, lovely. Okay. 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 So I would encourage each and everyone to participate, so we have an understanding as to what kind of participants are we here today with. Okay. So we have like a mix between people who are planning to start and people who already have a business. Lovely.
Great.
Okay. Great. So thank you all for participating. We will go ahead now. So the steps that we are going to be discussing today are going to be relevant for both of you all, people who want to start a business, who are planning to start a business, and also for people who already have a successful business. So like Amitji rightly said, COVID situation has not been very great for quite a lot of businesses. At the same time, if you see, there is a flip angle to it where we have seen businesses manifold their sales. So if we talk about offline businesses, yes, they have gone through a hit because it was a complete closure. It was a close down. But at the same time, if you see the online businesses, there are quite a few of them. A lot of our clients also, they have manifold their sales, and they've clocked numbers which they haven't clocked for the last 2 years, 3 years in these 3 months. So of course, it was about being present at the right place at the right time. But there are a lot of them who have, you can say, who have taken up this opportunity, and a lot of them who have started their online business and they have been able to get a huge success. Now, basically, we would like to focus on 3 things today, that if you wish to start your business online, or if you already have a business online business, these are the 3 things that you need to set right, and these things have to be correct. These things have to be thought upon before going into this. So the first thing is going to be digital strategy. The second is digital sales. And third is we're going to talk about digital operations. So when we talk about strategy, typically, every business now today, if you have a physical store or a physical, you can say a QSR, or you have any kind of physical outlet, you had a choice of displaying maybe 1,000 items, 2,000 items, 3,000 items, because you had the space probably. Or if on consumer demand, you could understand and you could actually produce those items, manufacture those items. So it was okay to display 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 items in your particular store. But when it comes to digital, you have to be very, very sure of validating your business model and be very sure of which products are you going to be selling. It's not that you cannot sell 5,000 products, but yeah, to start with, you are definitely going to be starting with maybe a couple of products which are going to be, which have a very high demand in the market. Now, I'm sure your next question would be, how would we find the demand in the market? So when I say digital strategy, the first thing is we have to strategize the product in terms of the market research. So when I say market research, there are multiple such tools available online. These tools are slightly on the expensive side, so you can hire a good consultant who can help you understand which are the products which have, what are the searches of those products, which countries have highest searches, what are the kind of demand pattern in terms of the months, what is the demand pattern in terms of the geography, in terms of the demography. So you will exactly come to know that the product that you're planning, is it appropriate for digital sales or not. So that's why we say validating your business model is the first thing that you must consider. There are multiple such, like I said, there are multiple such ways and means. These tools also help you in understanding what kind of competitor, if you have, like, say, for example, you're selling some Ayurvedic products. There are multiple such Ayurvedic brands already available in the market. So you can actually understand what are the kind of walk-ins to, as in traffic that they have. You can actually understand what is the kind of, which products of theirs are high selling, fast selling, which of their pages are most visited. This will help you in understanding which product should you be launching online, which kind of target market you should be targeting, which kind of demography you should be targeting in terms of marketing. So this will actually help you in validating your complete business idea before just launching the product just because you feel this is the right product for the market. So analyzing your niche is something that we really focus on, where we tell our clients as well that if you don't have a niche, don't rush to get into a digital business. Make sure you have the niche. Now, niche, again, there are two kinds of markets I would like to focus here on. One is, it's called the red ocean, and one is the blue ocean. Now, it's very important for you to understand where you wish to be. Red ocean are all those generic products which you probably are trading in, you are not manufacturing yourself. These products are available with several other people around, in and around your competition. So you do not have a niche here, but yes, you have high volumes because these are the products that are going to be required continuously for to people. So the essentials are one of the examples. So FMCG products is one of the examples. Now, the demand of these products is always going to be there because these products are something which the society needs. But these products at the same time would not have as much margin as the ones in the blue ocean. So red ocean means the products which are going to be easily available. They have high volumes, less margin. So, marketing here, you will have to understand you cannot go in an organic way when you have to market products in a red ocean. You will have to spend good amount of money when it comes to marketing. And at the same time, when you talk about blue ocean are those niche products that only you have. These are the niche categories that probably people will come back to you for. So here you can still go ahead with an organic way of marketing. You can still expect people to come back to you, remember you, and probably your marketing can be much easier, or it can be much organic as compared to the red ocean. So I mean, I would not say red ocean would work or a blue ocean would work. It all depends on what kind of products are you dealing with. So for you, the first step is definitely going to be validating your business model. Business model includes everything, right? From understanding your business, capital investment, your operating costs, the margins of the business, what kind of break-even sale would you have, what kind of ROI would you have, and what kind of budgets can you actually spend in marketing as per the business model. So it is very important to validate your business model before going ahead and starting off any kind of digital business. And even if you have an existing business, please make sure you revisit, you validate, you understand where are you better than your competitors and why would people come to you to buy those products. So like I said, please make use of those tools which are readily available. So there is one such, I mean, there are a lot of Google products also which help you in understanding the trend of the market. One of those tools is called Google Trends, which help you understand the product is trending in which region, what kind of number of searches does it have, what keywords do people search when they have to search for such products. So these kind of tools will really help you in developing the complete business or digital strategy for yourself. So there we are digital. Once you are through with developing your complete digital strategy, and once you've decided whether you want to go ahead with the red ocean theory or a blue ocean one, the next step is definitely going to be the digital sales. Now I'm sure everybody will have a question. Yes, how are we going to clock sales? How are we going to be pulling sales? So like I said, sales have multiple channels when it comes to online. It can be your own website, it can be your mobile app, it can be marketplaces like Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra. It can be also a lot of such social media stores that are coming up, like you have Facebook store, you have Insta store. A lot of digital partnerships are now going very, very well with non-competing partners. I will give you certain examples for this as well. And of course, WhatsApp business. Now, a lot of our clients come to us, they ask us whether we should have our own website or not. If I'm selling on Amazon, do I really need my own website? So I would say, so if you have a vision to take this brand to a level, I mean, you have a vision to grow this product, grow this brand to the next level. And if you have a long-term vision of being with this brand, I'm confident enough that you should be having your own website. Through marketplaces, through several listings, you can pull a lot of traffic to your own website, but own website is definitely inevitable. So because own website gives you a lot of liberty of, displaying the range of products that you have, having several offers, several schemes, which will attract the customers. You can have a lot of engagement with your customers. You can have direct data of all the customers who are visiting your website. So there are quite a lot of advantages when it comes to having your own website. So if you are planning to go long term with a company or with the product that you have, I don't think website is an option. Your own website is an option. Second is definitely the marketplaces. For all those people who are planning to start or have just started, you must list yourself on Amazon, Flipkart, and these kind of marketplaces, because initially getting traction onto your own website is going to be definitely difficult. It'll involve a lot of marketing expenditure, and it'll definitely involve a lot of push in terms of your social media and all of that. So these marketplaces have an advantage because they have millions and millions of visitors every day. If you put your ads right on these marketplaces, your product can come at the top, and then that's the way you can increase your the number of visitors to your product on the marketplace and also the website. So marketplace listing again is not optional. For all those people who think I'm starting my own website, I don't care. Yes, if you have the budget to wait for maybe 1.5 years for the footfall or for the traffic to come in, then you can definitely sit back, relax, and have only your own website. But for people who want to see some numbers from the beginning itself, only website would probably be slightly difficult for you to pull in the traffic. So this is also a very good option. And also a lot of people, so people who are planning to start, you can also do some kind of surveys or some kind of short trials on these marketplaces. So if you have 10 products and eventually you want to only start off with 5 of them, so you can sell all of those 10 on the marketplaces for the next maybe 6 months or 3 months, see the response of the people, and then get into those 5 products which are the highest selling for you. So before investing into 10 products, you can always have a check, you can say a kind of survey, or it is always good that, people come and tell you that this is the product that I loved of yours. And that's something that is possible through marketplaces. So we've also had clients who have done these kind of trial errors, testing on the marketplaces, understood what the people like, and then they have introduced those products under their brand names on their website. So that's another way of looking at things. Third is, of course, social media. There is your Facebook store, your Insta store. This is these days, of course, I mean, having a Facebook store or not, or having an Insta page or not, is not a question at all. If your target market is exactly present on Facebook or on Insta, you definitely will have to be there. And you will, having a Facebook or an Insta store is again not a very difficult thing to manage. And you will have to have a separate team who can manage all of those social media stores of yours as well. The fourth one is the digital partnerships with non-competing partners. Now, when we talk about digital partnerships, I'll give you one example. One of our clients who's into jewelry, ethnic jewelry. So basically, the real gold and diamond jewelry. He's tied up with ethnic wear or a sari wear, sari brand, and they come together for all their marketing campaigns. They come together for all their offers. They come together. They share their database. So this is a win-win for both of them. So what happens is, these are non-competing businesses, and they both, when they come together, they definitely add a lot of value to the end consumer. So me as a customer, if I want to buy jewelry for my for some occasion or for some wedding, I would definitely want to have, I mean, a sari or ethnic wear would definitely be my choice if I have to go for wedding or any kind of function. So they are non-competing, but they are very, very complementary kind of businesses who've come together, and they share all their marketing expenses. Now, this gives a benefit for them because they can have a wider coverage. Maybe if the same spend could give them maybe a coverage, or reach to 1 lakh people, that in the same budget they can reach out to probably 2 lakh people, just because they're coming together, joining hands together. They've in fact gone ahead and also done their photo shoots together. So that's also one of the advantages that you can think of, because now if you're looking at digital sales, you are also looking at all these expenses that are going to be adding on. So you have to look at smarter channels. You also have to look at convenience of people. You have to look at a better consumer experience, which is all possible when you join hands with partners who are non-competing to you. And lastly, of course, WhatsApp business. This is definitely a very informal way of doing your sales. But for a lot of products where I have seen all those homegrown businesses, they do wonderful on WhatsApp business. They have a very specific target group, and they've been doing wonderful with WhatsApp business. So digital sales channels. So these are the various channels that you can explore, you can think of, and you can list yourselves, and you can probably expand, grow, and sell yourself there. And lastly, to engage people on digital, say, to have the right strategy, to have the right sales, you have to have the right operations also. Sorry. Operations is the complete backend of your business. Now we all have vendors from where you would purchase material. You all have your accounts department, your HR department, your inventory management, you have your IT, you have your the admin department. All of those standard departments I'm not going to talk about today. I'm going to be talking only about the specific departments which are going to be digital operations oriented. Now, when I talk about digital operations, sorry. So yeah, when we talk about digital operations, these are the 6 key stakeholders who are going to be involved when it comes to digital marketing, sales. So first is definitely going to be your website development. The second is photography. The third is content writing. Please don't underestimate this part of the business, because this is actually going to get you the right target crowd. This is actually going to get you the sales. The digital marketing, that is reaching out to people, the inventory software, and of course the logistics and the courier partners, these vendors that you're going to be tying up with. So these are the 6 key stakeholders that are required to go digital. So when I say website development, yeah, so I mean, you know, choosing the right platform. It starts from choosing the right platform to having the complete UI UX, that is your user interface as well as a user experience of the website. Then it moves on to the photography. So having the right backgrounds, having the right products, having the right way it has been shot. The content writing, that is, you know, the way your website is going to speak to the customers, because you are not there to speak to the customers. So your website is going to be speaking to the customers through the actual content that is mentioned there. The digital marketing, that is, you know, reaching out to the people, the right target group, the right age, the right gender, the right location, everything. Tying up with the logistics vendors, the courier vendors, and inventory software. So, so your complete IT infra, I would say, has to be absolutely robust when it comes to digital marketing. And digital business is absolutely handicapped without a capable IT solution, which can help you manage your complete digital operations. So you might think today that I'm managing things myself, I'm managing things by manually, I'm working on, maybe we can, you know, we'll reach a turnover and then we can look at some softwares and then we can look at some kind of IT infrastructure. But, you know, in digital business, IT is the only investment that you have. You don't have to go and buy a space. You don't have to go and buy as a physical business requires. So this is something that you absolutely cannot compromise on. This is something that you have to have in a very, very robust format if you're looking at digital as a long-term business for yourself. So with this, I would like to you know, over to Rohit to take to help you with the complete robust IT infrastructure and helping you manage your complete inventories. Over to you, Rohit.
Yeah, thanks, Rupal. I think that was very insightful and brilliant, actually. So, just wanted to check before I present my section a few questions. One from the audience. Anyone has already been running an e-commerce site also along with their a retail venture? Any of the audience members? If you can respond on the chat, it would be great. And meanwhile, I'll ask Amit ji, like, if you can reply about your experience of, you know, handling all these operations part. All of it is in-house or outsourced? How are you managing all these various operations, like website, content
Basically,
writing, digital marketing?
yes, digital marketing we are in-house,
Right?
and we have the ratio of 1:20.
Means,
Means if we will spend 1 rupees in the Facebook or Google, we earn 20 rupees.
okay, that's
They
great.
get a revenue of 20 rupees. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
So this is our achievement basically. If you will go into the market and it good 5 or 7 basically, but we have more than 20 plus. And throughout this, the April, May, June, July, August, we are scoring plus 20.
That's wonderful. Actually, there's because one key metric that you need to track, as you pointed out, Amiji, is the ROI on your digital
ROI.
spend.
Yes,
And because it's very easy to spend a lot without having a clear understanding of where that money is going and how it is getting utilized in terms of your
yes,
visitors, and then finally purchase conversion on your website.
100%.
The good thing is on online it's pretty easy to track. So if your website developer knows how, great. Otherwise, there are also readily built tools to help you with that, including Google Analytics. So you can embed that in your e-commerce site, and if you're using an e-commerce platform, it comes inbuilt as a plugin which you can just add in. So my question was more about how many are already running. So it seems that very few are already running. Only one. Vishal Soni has replied yes. So so fine. Then I'll tailor my presentation accordingly. One second. Share my screen. So yeah. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Great. So, so Genesis is into retail software. It's basically one of the leading retail ERP and POS providers. And one of the things that COVID has taught us, that change is probably a new normal for the many coming years also, because COVID is here to stay, and also there are other challenges uh, coming in with a lot of with the deal with China, and a lot of things changing on the global front. So change is probably the new normal, and we have to be prepared for it. So Genesis is the only constantly evolving solution to meet the rapidly changing requirements, market scenario of the customers. And we have been working with around 500 plus brands across the country, brands and retailers, and various manufacturers across the country to kind of help them with their ERP, POS, inventory management, accounting, and such requirements. So we are we are looking for. So if you come to post-COVID, what are the expectations from the market? Definitely e-commerce is the biggest one. So I'll cover that section first, and then we'll come to some of the other things also, which are also pretty adding a huge impetus in terms of uh, sales conversions. So first and foremost, when we are talking about online sales, there are, as Rupal mentioned, there are multiple sales channels. How are we helping? We are helping you understand the technology solutions available out there, whether you want to create your own e-commerce site or build it on some platform. So somebody asked a question whether I should build it or not. So one question, definitely, if you want to build your web presence, it's one thing. Having a domain name and building a standard just template site is one thing, but building an e-commerce site is a bit of an investment. So before you jump into the investment, do start selling on the marketplace first, and then start working on your e-commerce site depending on how the sales come. And second, as she mentioned, as you may be aware, there are already e-commerce platforms available. So we help you compare all of that and come out with the right solution for your kind of business. And we do give you an inbuilt ecosystem. We are already connected to many of the leading e-commerce sites like Shopify, WooCommerce. So it will help you get started that much faster. So you can obviously build it from scratch, but that is a very, very expensive and time-taking proposition. But you can also use the ready frameworks, Magento, Zeppo, one of the newer ones like Local Mafia, ZenCommerce. So one of the myths is that yes, it will take a lot of time. So that myth is the one that is broken by using these ready platforms that immediately you can start. You can just upload your catalog. Obviously, you need to have the content, the images, the product images should be good. The content should be ready, and it should be written in a way that attracts and converts customers. So then you will be able to start selling immediately once these. So if your product is ready, you can start immediately. Basically, it's like that. And also there are marketplaces like Insta Commerce or Facebook Commerce or WhatsApp Commerce. So these also are they are also pushing a lot of sales for the smaller, homegrown brands, stuff like that. Main components I won't cover because people is already covered, but we are more concerned with the latter part, which is order booking to allocation to processing to order returns to tax invoice creation. So right now, all these things from ordering to invoicing, all of these things can happen on your e-commerce site or they can happen on your, aggregator. What is an aggregator? Aggregator is nothing but not Amazon, but basically something like Vinculum, Unicommerce, Brown Tape. They have platforms that help you collect orders from various sources and push it into fulfillment zones. So Genesis is already tied up with various aggregators or order management solutions, as they are called, and they are pretty widely used, especially in the fashion sector. So because in fashion, most of the sales have started with Myntra and Amazon. So having an OMS is a big advantage because all the APIs are already integrated and you get a proper fulfillment module out of the box. And that's why we are also integrated with them, though we have an option to integrate directly from the e-commerce site. So, and so you can obviously fulfill from your warehouse as well as your point of sale. And you can connect up both your portal as well as your marketplace orders to the OMS. And through that, fulfill the orders by connecting your warehouse as well as your point of sale. So what that means is, you can provide a common pool of inventory across all the online sales channels, create a single place for, a single panel from which to fulfill orders, because whether you're selling from Amazon, Myntra, so on, so it reduces the complexity in your operations. It makes your order fulfillment much easier, faster, and you will be able to do your payments reconciliation also, which is a very, very tedious step if you're not having a single platform to do it. And obviously, they are also integrated with a lot of these order delivery channels like Delivery, as Amit mentioned. Then there is ShipRocket and so on. So all of that is all pre-integrated in these OMSs. So, so we are basically making sure that it becomes a no effort kind of thing. Within 10 days, you can start with inventory push from Genesis into the online platform, and reverse of the invoicing getting pushed back into Genesis, and the fulfillment getting happened very easily. So from your side, there is not a single line of code to be written. That's our goal. Of late, we have got a lot of inquiries about e-commerce, how to launch your own grocery app. So we are also helping out with partners through our partners to help you, get your e-commerce site created, how to get your e-commerce site created in a very, very fast way through using an existing platform, obviously, and making sure that the orders are fulfilled using the integration technologies available with Genesis. Some of the other tech that has really picked up over the last few months is last mile delivery tracking. So whether obviously Myntra, Flipkart, all these companies were already doing it, but if you had your own web store and you are selling to your customer, you also want to give them visibility of when the order will arrive, what will happen, and when the delivery executive is coming. So you want to track that last mile delivery. So we are also enabling this kind of tracking through various integrations and also our mobile apps, going forward. So you'll be able to, track your shipments to the customer and assign the riders and so on. Then another important part is about digital payment acceptance within the store, which is really picked up. Obviously, demonetization was a big push, but now COVID is giving another big push to this digital payment wallet ecosystem. And UPI has received a tremendous response, and we are already integrated with UPI in both our mobile POS as well as our standard POS. So it helps you get payments from any kind of UPI app, and you can do your payment reconciliation very easily because it's all integrated automatically. And another important point is about sending the bills via SMS or email to the customer automatically without having to print out a bill or an invoice to the customer. So this is also now important because of the touchless, contactless invoicing that is happening in the store. So these are all in-store kind of technologies which are kind of now coming into the picture, and also I think they are there for the permanent scenario. They will not go away once COVID is gone. And another important, really relevant one is electronic gift vouchers, which is basically you can start selling. Earlier, we used to print out gift vouchers and distribute them to the customers for shopping in our store. They could gift it to their relatives. Now, electronic gift vouchers are really big, and there is no need for any physical distribution, and they can be redeemed via an OTP based system. So this is also pretty much now peaking with the festive season around, with the online sales happening. So you can buy an electronic gift voucher through Amazon for your brand and for any particular brand, and then go and redeem it in the store, physical store. So this kind of integration is very useful, and it's very powerful as well for the brand, because it really multiplies their sale, because anyone can gift a voucher to anyone from anywhere. And for the online, for the brands, another important, like similar to B2C, B2B orders, like their orders from wholesalers, retailers, that is also started coming in online. Earlier, this used to happen through WhatsApp and so on. But now a lot of the B2B brands are also taking orders from their customers and retailers through their own apps, order taking apps. So they're getting those apps created. Again, here our suggestion is to go with something standard rather than trying to get your own app created, because then the maintenance effort for those things is pretty high. So this was my take on what's happening. So we can come to Q&A after a short while. Just move on back to Amitji about his experience of these technologies.
Yes, Rohit. Basically, we are using Genesis, and for integrator part, aggregator part, we are using Unicommerce, and the website in the Magento, and all are working very smooth and giving a very good results. Basically, as far as Genesis concerned, it's a very good software. Okay, they give all the reports, and Magento 2.0 is a very friendly. Basically, you can say the desktop version and a mobile version, both. And the Unicommerce is an aggregator as a part of the delivery and messaging. This is a very good role, basically. So on a daily basis, if we are getting 100+ orders, and we have to dispatch maximum 10 to 15 minutes to get the invoicing and to delivery partner. So it's a very good, basically.
Yeah, so that ecosystem is really helping you push the sales.
Yes. Otherwise, the operation will be a mess, basically. If someone make 100 customers and 100 orders, so it will be a very difficult to us. Now the order come from the Magento, it will come directly to the Unicommerce. Unicommerce automatically build, and the invoices goes posted into the Genesis, and we can take a report basically on a timely basis, basically online. It's a very good, basically, the three of them. And this is my experience to basically install and set up all three of them in the COVID time.
Great. Thanks, Amiji. So moving to the Rupal, sorry, before moving to the audience, Rupalji, any closing comments before we move to Q&A?
Sure. So for all those people who would like to go online or who have already been online, please make sure that you go ahead and you have a set target market in your head. You know exactly whom to target, and only then put all your time, energy, efforts, and money onto it, because online is completely about, targeting the right people, targeting the right age group, targeting the right demographics. So that's my closing statement for today.
Thank you, Nupur. So we'll move to the Q&A section. So one question, I think, do we really need Unicommerce if we have connected Magento? If you have connected Magento to your store, you don't require Unicommerce.
Not necessarily.
If you have already connected it, then great. If not, then suggestion is that you can go for it. But if you have already connected it, then not required.
Can I request the attendees to put their questions in a Q&A section? There is a separate Q&A that you would be able to see. If you can put it there, otherwise it'll get lost in the chat.
So one such question came from Mahavir Devanavar. I'm
Okay.
looking a partner to develop e-commerce website. What is your suggestion?
It depends on whether you want a partner in your city or you're okay with working online. So that is the first question, first thing. And second, Magento, so I think we have worked in the past with various people who have worked with some of our customers to develop their e-commerce site. So we can also suggest, and I'm sure Rupal can also suggest few names. We can, if you send us a mail, our at sales@genesys.in or whoever. So we will be able to help you. But, off the top of my head, any of the people who are listed on Shopify platform or on Magento as, listed partners on their platforms, they are more suitable than others.
Great.
So Magento is open source platform, yes, partly, but Magento Enterprise is a paid edition, so it's open source but not free. So you have to pay for it if you are using the enterprise version. Otherwise, the community edition is free.
So Shubham has a question that do you recommend it is a good time to start gourmet retail? Shubham, this is a broad-ended question, but if you talk about starting off a gourmet retail, you should look at first the competitors, the kind of target market that you have. What is the product suitable for the category, for the location that you're looking at? And based on that, you can take a decision.
Actually, with the increase in, so premium retail is doing pretty well right now, I think, in terms of food, because of the added focus on health and, wellness.
Immunity, yeah.
So I don't know what you mean by gourmet retail. If those things, but obviously a lot of it depends on location and where you are working, and is it going to be suitable to that audience where you want to locate your store.
I think Pushpavani has a question for you, Rohit.
Can we integrate our website with Genesys using API and later go on to integrate with Unicommerce for marketplace? Yeah, sure, you can do that. Only there are some technical constraints, like we have to define where the fulfillment, like if the same, we get an order for the same inventory from multiple places, how do we handle that? So we have to decide that and then go ahead with this. It is possible to do it. We have your software and our e-commerce is in WooCommerce. How can we connect them? You can get in touch with the CSM. He will help you, talk to our integrations team and get it done. There is a standard kit available for WooCommerce integration. Now we are having that already, so you can get in touch with them. How to set it up and how to get it moving.
Everyone started online business, how it's going, how it goes, competing market, and also what should do. Okay.
Small kirana, what should the small kirana shops do? I think that's the question.
Yeah. So I don't know your name.
Correct.
And it's an anonymous person. But yeah, so when it comes to small kirana shops, like Rohit rightly mentioned, change is a way of life now, and everybody, right from a traditional business to the new gen business, everybody has to change each day. So if you talk about a small kirana shop, maybe you have to focus more on the service side of the business. You can start with home deliveries, you can have a good software, you can have proper inventory management, you can have a wonderful display, you can give certain offers to customers, something that you already receive from the distributors and dealers. So all of these are the small ways of how you can increase your customer gratification of probably dealing with you.
Also,
Apart from,
I can
yeah.
just give my experience. The kirana shops near my apartment, they're all doing multifold businesses compared to what they were doing earlier. So it's not that retail sale has gone away. Actually, it has increased only.
Agreed. And of course, I mean, if you can also look at online deliveries, you can look at an online.
Yeah.
So these are various ways how you can expand. Vishal has a question. Do we need to connect you all to do it? I think he's looking for some.
Basically, about the WooCommerce integration only. So he said, we will help you connect to WooCommerce. So you can send a mail to the account manager. He will help you get you started on the integration path.
So there is again a question from the anonymous attendee that if I need to start e-commerce business, which category would you recommend us to start with, considering the present market scenario? So the whole world knows that only grocery, as in the essentials, have worked well in the complete COVID. So if you, I mean, considering the present market scenario, there's a grocery essentials in terms of grocery and medical. These two businesses have worked. Apart from that, it's your expertise. Where are you good at sourcing? How you can get the
So it's more less to do with what is working and
the present scenario.
versus
Yeah.
what you can execute on, actually, what you can do. So if you can do fashion well, it's not that fashion businesses are not doing well online and they are not like our
Right.
customers are there, their sales have gone up 10 times on their own website also. So, they were doing maybe 2-3 lakhs a month. Now they're doing 30-40 lakhs a month, given the festive season, obviously. But, roughly you can say, even if you take 50% down because of festive uplift, it's still 5 times compared to what they were doing earlier. Which is, this is without spending too much extra on ad money. And if they start doing that, then obviously it goes. So it's about what you are good at and what your team is good at, I think, rather than general answer.
Mr. Sandeep has a question. For a small retail organization as a beginner in web world, is it better to have an in-house development team or an outsourced one?
Outsourced. There's
Definitely.
no thought about it.
In-house is very difficult.
In-house, you cannot give them the requirements in that proper way. It's better to outsource it and also try to minimize development altogether by going for some ready solutions.
Ready solutions.
Where you can just upload and start and see the sale, and then after that you can keep investing as you go along. Rather than trying to create a team, trying to invest the money upfront, it would be very, very dangerous, and you will get lose money, and it will cause more frustration.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? I think no, we are done.
Yeah, I think that is all from the questions. So guys, if you have any questions, you can just quickly type in the Q&A session. I think we have one. Yeah. So this one is from Wasim Anwar. Can we totally eliminate or keep no COD order options on my own website or on marketplaces, as the returns and cancellations are highest on COD orders?
Rupal, you can answer that.
So, see, there are certain areas of the country who are very, very comfortable with COD only. I don't know where are you basically from, but yeah, I mean, if you feel that the returns and cancellations are way more than the kind of margins that you're making on it, then I think that's a call that you can take. But I have personally seen a lot of states in India, they predominantly work on COD.
Yeah, and also it depends on the product type. So
Yes.
Product and fit.
yeah, so if the product is priced around less than 1,000 rupees, maybe you can turn off COD. So if it is a bit more expensive, I don't think you have an option to turn it off.
Right.
As of now. Maybe after a few years when people are more comfortable with buying online, maybe anyway it will go away.
So the next question is, after COVID, online businesses will continue or not? After COVID.
Rupal, go ahead.
Yes, yes. So, Mr. Ashoka, online business, I mean, you can say the channel of selling online has just begun, I would say. COVID has been substantially helping us, taking these businesses online faster. Otherwise, this would have eventually taken probably 2 years where we have reached, much earlier because of COVID. But this is definitely here to stay. So way forward is definitely going to be omni-channel. It's going to be a combination of offline and online.
Yeah, everyone is now more thinking about the hybrid model only. So it's not
Yes.
they know that people will walk in and people will buy online. So they have to manage both.
Right.
So it won't go away.
Definitely.
Not at all.
So
Yes.
any other questions?
I think that is it.
That's it. Great.
Okay.
Thank you all for attending the webinar, and we'll keep coming up with such webinars to help all the retailers, and we hope to see you soon again. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Amiji.
Thank
Thank you,
everybody.
Vyomika. Thank you,
Thank you.
Amiji. Thank you, Rohit. Thanks.
See you. See
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.